and welcome to this quick 10-minute hamstring tutorial. And the first thing we're going to do is grab ourselves some form of strap. So if you haven't got a yoga strap, you can use like a dressing gown, belt tie, or a belt, or a tie. And the first thing we're going to do is come to lie down on our back. And if you can't find anything, then we'll just use hands. So start lying down. When you're ready, on your back, and we'll get our strap, we'll hook it round the top of our right foot, we'll keep the left leg bent, foot to floor, hold quite low down on the strap so that you can relax the back of the arms down instead of like reaching right up if you've got the length on your strap. So have the strap just kind of on the top of your foot, flex the toes. And then the stretch is coming right from the back of the ankle into the calf. So if you haven't got a strap, you're just going to be holding the back of the leg. And just breathe here. And as you breathe, you might just find you can get more and more of a stretch in. Bring the leg closer and closer in towards your face. Okay, and we'll swap sides. Wrap the strap around the top of your left foot, extend it up towards the sky, or just hold the back of your leg. Use the strap to sort of flex the toes down towards your face. Press out through the back of the knee. And heel up towards the sky. Maybe for the last breath or two, your leg can come closer in. And then releasing that strap, placing it to one side for now, and coming up into a standing forward fold. In your standing forward fold, I want you to take a really big bend in the knee. Let your belly meet onto your thighs, and then bow the head down towards the floor. And the arms drop down towards the floor. So we want to avoid just trying to desperately get our legs straight and like reaching for our toes with a rounded back, because it's actually not going to be a very efficient way of stretching our hamstrings, getting them more flexible in the long term. So actually just bend in towards your knees as much as you want to. Really make that connection through belly and thigh. Play around with your weight distribution from your heels more towards your toes, and then find like a nice even point. And the more you do the forward fold, or even after a few breaths in, you might then like to see if your legs will straighten, but try and keep that same belly to thigh connection. And then I sometimes like to take a few pulses here, so sort of like pulsing my fingertips towards the mat. If you prefer to stay just in stillness and breathe, then do that. And sometimes I find a sway side to side from the upper body is really nice to get more of a side lower back stretch, because it's all connected, right? So our hamstrings are connected right up in towards our spine and all the way up towards the back of our neck. So it all sort of comes as one. If you feel like you've got tight hamstrings, you might also just have tight hips, a bit like me. Okay, then the next thing we're going to try from our standing forward fold is pedaling out the knees. So bending into one knee, you straighten the other leg. A few of these. And then I like to add a twist here. It helps really deepen the hamstring stretch. So as you bend into your left knee and your right leg is straight, leave your left hand down, lift your right arm to sky into a twist. So whatever side knee is bent, that side hand stays down. So swap over, right knee bent, right arm down, left leg straight, open up the left arm. Exhale as you swap, and a big inhale as you open is what I like to do. Exhale to swap, inhale to open, or just staying in each side for a few breaths if you prefer. Next time that both your hands are down towards the floor, take your hands towards the top of the mat and step your feet back into a downward facing dog. And then you can give your legs a pedal here too, bending into one knee as you straighten the other. Maybe a static downward facing dog, really pressing into the hands, getting the chest back towards the thighs. Drop the head. Okay, and walk your hands in towards your feet now. And roll all the way back up to standing. We're coming into pyramid pose. Step your right foot forwards. Right toes facing the top of the mat. Left foot is back with toes slightly off to one side, but you want to try and keep your hips facing the top. Hands on hips and then fold forwards, keeping a soft knee of the front leg. And I like to come just halfway. So aiming for like back parallel to floor. Look down at your toes so the back of the neck is long. And if you want to, you can drop the fingertips down towards the floor and then fold all the way over, but I just find that that is what creates that rounded back again, like we all do in our forward fold. And actually, it's better just to keep a flat back with the hinge coming from the hips whilst we work on stretching, opening that hamstring. After a few breaths there, lift up, swap the feet over, left foot is forwards, right foot is back, and same again, hinge from the hips, fold over the front leg, soften into that front knee. Be mindful of your hip that's at the back, so the right on this one, wanting to open to the side, and maximise the stretch by sort of aiming the hips forwards in the same direction as your front toes. Last breath here then. And take your hands to the floor, make your way to seated any way that you can. You'll grab that strap again if you did have one. Now it's a seated forward fold. So you'll notice how most of the movements are the same. Obviously hinging our torso forwards is what is going to lengthen the back of the legs and the back panel of the body. So they're all fairly similar, but they all work in their own way. So from your seated forward fold, be sat right up on the base of your spine. And the benefit in standing forward fold is that you've got gravity, right? Helping your torso go down. But seated forward fold is a nice way to sort of keep the legs fairly straight and just work on that hinge coming from the hips with a bit more of an active stretch. Wrap the strap over the feet and soften into the knee here. So notice the difference between extending your legs all the way flat on the mat and softening into the knee. So that just avoids hyperextending into the joints. and you're still going to get a big hamstring stretch. So lift tall, big inhale, exhale, pull on the strap and fold forwards through the hips. Don't round your back yet, shine your chest still towards your toes, keep a flat back, see where your body is folding. If you don't have the strap, just slide your hands sort of down your legs until your body doesn't want to fold anymore. And then you can drop the head and relax a bit into it. But if you have got the strap, you can use it as leverage. So similar to like what we went over in standing forward fold, if you want to avoid just like desperately reaching for the toes and rounding into the back, and instead bend up into the knees, focus on the belly towards the legs so that the fold comes from the hips, and then drop down the head. Last breath here. And release the strap. Roll the torso back up to neutral. Take the strap onto one side, and then to finish, we're going to do legs up the wall. So this is a really nice way to finish it because you don't have to have any effort in it really. You just hang your legs up, you can sit and read, you can scroll on your phone, anything. It does require a wall, so if you don't have a spare wall, then you can finish your stretch here if you can. Grab yourself a wall and sit your bum as close as you can towards it, and see where your legs can go up the wall. So if you're sat a little bit further away from the wall and you feel like you're not getting a stretch in your hamstrings, then just try and shuffle your bum more towards the wall. And if you're sat quite close to the wall and it's feeling painful, then you'll probably need to shuffle back from the wall so your legs aren't quite as upright. And you can spend whatever time you've got left here in this position. So if you've got an extra 5 minutes, then why not just stay chilling out like this? Ultimately, the longer we stay in hamstring stretches for, the more they're going to loosen up, and those really tight muscles are going to start to open. So the legs up the wall is also a really great way to let the blood flow back in towards the brain and our major organs, and away from our feet and ankles if you're standing on them a lot all day. Take the pressure off. Okay, so I will leave this video here. Feel free to hang out in legs up the wall for as long as you can, but thank you for watching, and I hope the hamstrings feel a bit looser now.